Good afternoon. This is Mirror Now. Thank you for tuning in. A day after the Air Force strike at Balakot across the line of control, there's high alert in all border areas. As per sources, a Pakistani jet, an F-16, has been shot down in Indian retaliatory firing. News agency ANI has reported that the incident took place in the Lam Valley in the Nowshera sector. According to ANI, the Pakistani jet had violated the Indian airspace. ANI also reported that the craters were seen near Indian Army post in Rajouri sector. This after shelling during ceasefire violations. My colleague Fareed is live with us right now. Fareed, obviously there has been this morning a lot of conflicting reports. If Fareed can hear me, all right, we're going to try and get back in touch with Fareed. In the meantime, I want to bring our viewers' attention to one thing. There is a lot of conflicting reports, especially reports coming out of Pakistan. There are a lot of conflicting and very worrying forwards doing the rounds on WhatsApp and on Twitter and Facebook. I ask you this, to please wait before you forward anything. A lot of what is being forwarded is not true or is not confirmed. At a time like this, we have to go with what the Indian government tells us and no one else. At Mirror Now, we have in fact slowed down the news updates for the day because we will only carry what has been confirmed by news sources and the government of India. My colleague Fareed is with us right now. Fareed is live in Srinagar. Fareed, you visited the location of one crash today, and there is a lot of conflicting reports. Please explain to us what is really going on the ground as far as what Pakistan is claiming and what India has told us officially.
Yes, Faye, I went to the spot, and there in an open field, there's this plane, or should I say chopper, and as of now, we do not have any confirmation or a report or official press release from the IF what exactly it was. The locals say that they saw a flying object which had, in fact, their first attention was taken to this by a blast that happened in the air. So this is what the local version is, people who were there on the spot, eyewitnesses. They say that it was a blast after which they saw a flying object which was completely on fire coming at a speed of knots, coming down, hurtling down towards the ground. They say that after that there was a loud thud, another blast as it hit the ground, and then they saw everything in flames. Everything would seem to be on fire. Now, after that, they went in. They found two dead bodies completely charred. In fact, we also showed the visuals, some pics we also received. The bodies were burnt beyond recognition. Now, the latest is, and this has been confirmed to us by the local administration, that one more person is dead. He's a local and probably got trapped as this ball of flame came down. After that, the locals informed the police. The authorities came to know. They came quickly at the spot. The area was secured. The crash area was secured. The Indian Air Force then also, as we also arrived, the Indian Air Force team also came in. There were choppers also that landed to take the dead bodies with them. And then right now they're trying to gather clues, the evidence from the ground as to what exactly happened. In fact, if you talk of this the debris, I mean, one cannot make out what exactly it was. Such is the bad shape in which even the debris are. You don't have anything which will help you to recognize what it was, whether it was a plane or a chopper. Local sources, admins tell us that it could be an Mi-17 transport chopper of the Indian Air Force. But as I said, no official response as of now, but in some time, surely we'll get an official release on this particular incident from the Indian Air Force. You are absolutely right. There are people who are trying to claim this as an act wherein they shot it down. But I think as far as this area is concerned, this is far away from the line of control. This is deep into the hinterland. So shooting it down would be something that is very remote as of now, as is one of the reasons for this. But as I said, official response we'll wait on. But area is completely secured right now. There is police, security forces, because there was a lot of local interest in this. There were people who come from various areas and they had completely surrounded this place. Thankfully, there is no violence or any reports of violence from the spot. There were some people who were trying to, in fact, trying to ensure that things really flare up, things go out of control by decimating rumors on social media, etc. But that's not the case. Area is, has seen absolutely no violence, minor incidents, but away from the spot of this particular incident. So that really is the latest as far as this incident is concerned. Right now, IAF teams are there and they're gathering clues from the spot, and then probably they will complete the investigation and then will be in a position to tell us whether it was an accident, what exactly led to this, because as I said, locals claim that there was some blast in the air and then all of it went up in flames. Faye?
Fareed, obviously, I also want to ask you about Srinagar. We understand the airport is closed, but there's also a shortage of fuel, and there is a general high alert across the valley. What's happening in Srinagar particularly? Could you tell us, please?
Well, Faye, Srinagar has been tense, or should I say the valley has in fact generally been tense ever since this incident of blast or that deadly car bomb blast that happened on the national highway against the CRPF. Since situation has not normalized, there is an unease in the air, and people from that day onwards really feel as something is to give, something may happen. And since there has been a build-up, authorities have also not helped matters, because there have been some bizarre orders coming in from the authorities wherein they have talked about fuel rationing, talking of the fact that food grain should also be distributed to a certain point, then things or these centers will close. Those kind of orders really have not helped things, because that have ensured that people feel that there is some build-up, some war kind of a build-up where they're trying to prepare things on the ground because something big is going to happen. So that really has added to the sense of tension and unease. And you're absolutely right. Latest is that there is no fuel across Srinagar. Fuel pumps are shut. People have kept their vehicles at their homes, and that's why there's a lot of thinning of traffic on the street. So that is another factor that is affecting the people here. Authorities say that they're in a complete denial mode. They claim that they're replenishing the stocks, but on the ground, the picture is totally different. People are not finding any fuel. Social media is full of buzz and speculation as to what has led to this. The authorities say that closure of road has done this. But if you remember, in deep winters, even Jan, there was for almost 7 to 10 days the road was closed, but we did not have this kind of a situation on the ground where there was absolutely no petrol or diesel. So this is something that is, as I said, adding to the sense of unease. There is a general build-up as well. As I said, after that, there have been some actions on the part of the authorities which have led the people to feel like there is some war that's going to happen or something big that is going to happen, and that's why the authorities are telling them to remain prepared. So Srinagar has been tense, and as you rightly also said, that today the airport operations have been shut. Now, this is obviously to do with the escalating border tensions. We know what has been happening on the borders. There have been claims and counterclaims about airstrikes, about hitting each other's targets, and that's why this seems to be an emergency protocol procedure where the airports which are close to the LOC and could be aircraft movement could be hit or could be affected. So this code has been brought in, and that's why airport operations in the Srinagar airport have been shut. Now, to add to that, we also know that this is not only a civilian airport, it is a civilian enclave inside an Air Force station. So that is also one reason that this is an airport which is hypersensitive, and probably that has led the authorities to shut civilian operations and commercial operations. And we'll know in some time whether this is temporary or this is going to be a long-term measure. Back to you.
Fareed, I understand you need to be moved, so we'll let you go for now, and we'll come back to you when you have more updates to give us. Very senior journalist, my colleague Fareed, reporting from Srinagar live. Like Fareed was telling us, airports in Leh, Jammu, Srinagar, Pathankot and Amritsar are on high alert, with the airspace being temporarily suspended to these airports. Many commercial flights have been put on hold. Flights to Jammu, Srinagar, Leh, Amritsar, Pathankot, Chandigarh, Dehradun and Dharamshala have been suspended until further notice. My colleague Ayushman is standing by in Delhi with an update on the airspace and the airports. Ayushman, what do you have for us? And do we know right now how long these airports are going to be closed for?
Well, right now, what we know from the Delhi airport authorities is that NOTAM, the notice that is being sent to the airmen in case there is a security problem, and there is a problem that the airplane cannot make a landing, and that is being sent. So NOTAM has been issued, and the flight operations to the northern part of India has been suspended. Right now, what we are getting to know from the sources is this is for 3 months. But when we tried to get it from the ATC, Air Control Traffic, and the Delhi Airport Authority, they said that the government's word is yet to come, and right now we have been told to stop the operations, commercial operations to these specified airports. When we try to talk to the airport, the commercial flight owners like Indigo and the Jet and Vistara, they said they have already put out a tweet saying these operations have been suspended, and they will this action has been taken because government has instructed them so. So right now in Delhi there is no exact number that we know as to how many flights have been cancelled, but temporarily these air movement to these northern airports have been suspended, and this will continue till the further orders come in Delhi. Meanwhile, there is a high alert also in New Delhi airport. The security has been tightened. All the vehicles which are coming to the Delhi airport, when they are going for parking, there has been a heightened security measure has been adopted. CISF is on high alert, and we can once you go towards the Delhi airport, you can sense the kind of security that is deployed there. So all in all, the northern airports from where the commercial operations were to take place have been suspended. At the same time, the high alert is sounded at Delhi airport. Faye, back to you.
All right, Ayushman, many thanks for bringing us that update, and we'll come back to you for more updates on obviously the civilian airports and the movement right now. From what we understand, there is a high alert, and airports and flights have been put on hold. Just to give you an update one more time, this is where we are. Airports in Leh, Jammu, Srinagar, Pathankot and Amritsar are on high alert, with airspace being temporarily suspended at these airports. Many of the commercial flights have been put on hold. Flights to Jammu, Srinagar, Leh, Amritsar, Pathankot, Chandigarh, Dehradun and Dharamshala have been suspended until further notice. So if you were planning to fly into any of these cities, it would make sense for you to postpone any travel until such time as the government tells us that these airports are open and are completely safe. Mr. J.K. Verma, defense expert, is on the phone line with us. Mr. Verma, thank you so much for giving us your time here at Mirror Now. We really appreciate it. Obviously, there has been, there have been claims being made on either side of the border. Pakistan has made some claims that have been proven by the Indian media to be completely false. At this time, what is your advice to Indian citizens in terms of the information that's going out on social media and on Twitter?
First of all, I will say that at the time when India attacked and destroyed their training camps, it was certain that Pakistan will retaliate. So my biggest advice to all Indian citizens, there is no need to panic. Pakistan was sending terrorists to our country, and they were disturbing our peace all the time. So we have to take a punitive action against it, and this is good that the government has taken it. There is no need to panic. These things will come and go. So I will say, and there is one thing more. Not many items are coming in the social media which are increasing the panic among the citizens. In the morning I received one thing. They are saying that please hold the food and all that. All these things, nothing is required. We have enough food. We have enough everything. The shops are there, so there is nothing to worry. These type of things come and go. We were always saying that India must take a stringent action against Pakistan. And now, if the government had taken the action, we should stand together, stand with the government and take the things. Like this, Pakistan will start a Radio Jhutistan, which they have done in 1965 and 1971 war also. So we should not worry and we should not think what Pakistan is saying right. Most of the information will be disinformation.
Mr. Verma, let me also ask you this question. There are a lot of the civilians and our viewers right now who are concerned. What does this mean? The exchanges that have happened during the day, Pakistan flights coming into our space, does this mean it could be escalated to war at this point? What is your reading of the situation?
I feel there will not be a full-scale war. The chances of that is very remote. The international community will try to stop it. Pakistan, keeping the economic condition of Pakistan, is not in a position to go for a full-scale war. The only thing is that as India destroyed their training camps, Pakistan has to show to their public that they are taking the retaliation. Unfortunately, Pakistan Army claims itself as the savior of Pakistan and also shows that it is very powerful, and through operation from ISI, they will able to do something big in Kashmir. In keeping that thing in view, they have to show that they have retaliated, and for that they are doing all these things.
Mr. Verma, we also know that our strikes that took place about 24 hours ago were hugely embarrassing for the Pakistan Army and for the Pakistan government. Now, given the nature of the Pakistan Army, do you expect those wounded egos to throw caution to the wind and do something rash?
I think you have used a very good word, that the ego of Pakistan Army will compel it to do something revengeful towards India. I will say Pakistan Army, as I said, they claim to be very powerful. And that's why they have to show it on the ground that they have taken revenge from India.
And what are the options before Pakistan at this point to take that, or to at least appear like it is taking some sort of revenge?
I feel the action from PAF are difficult because India is on full alert. Most probably, if the PAF plane comes, it will be shot down. One. Generally, the chances are there that either they will escalate violence on the border, their bet will take some more people of Indian security agencies, they will resort to more firing, mortar firing also will be there, there may be little more firing on the border areas. Basically, it may be possible that they may shoot some missile from the PAF, but their plane may remain in their own territory. From there they can hit. However, the chances that they will try to demolish our civilian or military targets are difficult. One. Number two, we have attacked and destroyed their terrorist camps. Now the Dalmia to PAF is where they will attack. India does not have any terrorist camps. So in that case, they cannot destroy any terrorist camp. So they have to attack either on civilian installations or military installations. And in that, attacking on these installations clearly means that is an act of war, which I think Pakistan will not like to do it, and India will also not like to go for a full-scale war.
Yes, Mr. Verma, please stay with us. We have Brigadier Hemant Mahajan joining us as well. Brigadier Mahajan, first of all, good afternoon and thank you for giving us your time. We appreciate your time and your expertise, especially on a day like this. As the conversation I was having with Mr. Verma, who is a defense expert, a lot of this war is also going to be fought with information. Given the fact that perhaps social media and WhatsApp and the exchange of information, unofficial information across the border right now, has never been this easy. So should Indian citizens remember that one of the reasons, one of the places we need to stay strong is mentally as far as information coming from the other side is concerned?
Definitely, you hit the nail on the head. What we must understand is today there are almost about 70% of Indians who are on the social media, be it Facebook, be it Twitter, be it YouTube, be it WhatsApp, etc. And today the TV channel, there are so many TV channels that almost everything is brought to you live. So therefore, we at times fall prey to the disinformation campaign, especially the ones that come from Pakistan and from inimical agencies. So what is most important at this point of time is this, that any disinformation which comes, which has a number from outside, which has an IP address from outside India, that must be immediately be blocked. If any stupid information comes from outside, then the link, we should not forward it. We should ensure that the link is sent to the cyber police, that whoever is spreading the information is straight away nabbed. Because today, every Indian who is on the social media needs to become a soldier, needs to become an intelligence man, and utilize his analyzing power to ensure that no atmosphere of despondency is created, no atmosphere of I would say making Pakistan some kind of a some kind of a Superman is created. Let us have faith in our army. Let us have a faith in our Air Force. Let us have a faith in our security forces. Let us have a faith in our political leadership. And more importantly, let us have a faith in ourselves as a nation. I have said it a number of times. I say it again, that this battle against terrorism is going to go on for a long time. What happened yesterday is just the beginning. If I'm not too much worried about conventional escalation taking place, that is their Air Force attacking, their armies attacking, because Indian Army, the Indian Air Force, Indian Navy is more than capable of reacting to any such threats. And Pakistan has always lost out in a conventional war of 47, 65, 71, 99. That is why they started off the proxy war or terrorism, which thereafter they unleashed with the help of ISI right from the 1980s onwards. And so therefore, more important is to not fall victim to the social media disinformation campaign if it takes place, and become proactive and send their links to the various security agencies so that we are able to nab them. Another threat that will remain open are the terrorist threats, either in the border areas, that is number one, or inside the hinterland. That is what we need to tackle, our cities, our coastal areas, our international border, etc. I'm not too much worried about the military threat to India, because that threat, I in fact look at it as an opportunity. If Pakistani Air Force does an adventure activity and comes inside India, they will lose in the bargain. That I'm quite sure. And similarly, if they carry out a conventional attack on the Indian Army, they will be the losers. However, yes, the disinformation war and the war which will be fought inside our borders, call it terrorism, that is where we need to be very alert, and every citizen has to keep his area secure. Today we have to keep our railway station secure, the shopping mall secure, I would say bus station secure, crowded streets secure. So unless everybody keeps his eyes and ears open and detects the security threat, passes on information to the security agencies so that we are able to detect it before it becomes a threat, that is what will be important. So I'm sure everybody will be alert in this manner.
Very well said, Brigadier Mahajan. Please stay with us. We have Brigadier Sri Ramalu join us as well. My question to you is this. We understand now from the government that most of the civilian airspace north and west of Delhi has been vacated. A lot of the airports, most of the airports have been closed completely. What does this mean? What does this high alert mean? And, why would the government have taken steps like this? Would you please explain to our audience? Brigadier Sri Ramalu.
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't get you clearly. Can you please repeat?
Yes, of course. Good afternoon. I'll repeat the question. We understand that airspace in the north or in the west of Delhi have been closed completely for civilian air traffic. Those airports are closed and no flights are taking off in those areas. Could you explain to us why the government would have decided to take these steps?
Closing the airspace is a very logical step by both countries. In fact, we don't want any commercial aircraft to be hit. Neither Pakistan wants. So that is quite reasonable. But there is a point I would like to add. Being a 1971 war veteran, by about 15th of December 1971, we were opposite Shakargarh, around 35 kilometers inside Pakistan territory. And at that time, we used to listen to Pakistan radio for our amusement, because Pakistan radio put out news saying that Pakistani troops are roaming around in the streets of Gurdaspur, which is well about 20 kilometers inside Indian border. So that is the extent to which the propaganda can go. Having said that, I would not like to comment on what Pakistan is putting out about capturing or arresting 2 pilots. Let the picture emerge from both sides. Only then it will be right to comment.
Absolutely. We have to let the picture emerge from both sides. And the conversation we were having, Brigadier Sri Ramalu, before you joined us, was that about this battle also being fought on the information side, where there is, like you said, a lot of information that's coming in on social media and on WhatsApp. And as Indian citizens, we have to resist the urge to maybe forward it and allow that information to get the better of us.
Yeah, that's true.
Go ahead, Brigadier Sri Ramalu.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. Social media, we should not become victims of temptation by forwarding messages which are unconfirmed, or rumor, or exciting, or depressing in any manner.
Yes.
In any manner. Unless it is totally confirmed by the government, we should not forward any such messages.
In information that's coming in right now, I just want to point out to our audience, the border areas are on high alert. Schools are closed now in the Pooch area. We understand that Pakistan has been violating the ceasefire, and there has been, there has been firing in some parts of the border as well. There is ceasefire violations at the LOC. Are you concerned with this, Brigadier Mahajan, if you're still with us?
Yes, I'm with you, and I have served adequately in this particular area. What
Yes,
we must
please.
understand is, in the border areas of Poonch, Rajouri, Uri, etc., the population lives right next to the line of control. When Pakistan uses weapons such as mortars or artillery, in addition to the casualties on the security forces, especially the army, the people also suffer. So the need of the hour is that we have to evacuate these people in case of a high-intensity war from this area into the depth areas so that they remain secure. But equally important is some of the people are cultivating farms there. They have their economic activities going on there. The government, over a period of time, must build up bunkers in their area, especially on the LOC, so that should a firing start straight away, they have very less reaction time. They can quickly rush into their house inside a bunker, so that the artillery fire or mortars fire or any other form of fire does not inflict unnecessary casualties on them. So there's a very important need of taking the care of security of ordinary civilians who are staying right up to LOC. So I'm sure we will take adequate steps as far as this part is concerned.
Well, we understand now there's heavy shelling in Rajouri and in Pooch, and like you said, there will be a lot of there will be civilians living fairly close by. We're still awaiting, though, any sort of clear instruction from the government as to whether or not these people will be moved or evacuated or given any sort of training in any way. Brigadier Mahajan, is it customary for the government to put out a warning or instructions to the civilians in these areas?
Yes, there's a well laid out drill by which when the threat level goes up, government can tell the people in that area. This is called the civic evacuation scheme, in which border area villages evacuate from themselves, just keep minimum people to take care of their property there, and rest everybody moves into the depth area, into the safer zones. So these are the procedures which are followed depending upon the threat that you estimate that will happen in that particular area. So that area, that kind of an activity would already be happening, but it is also an indication that the escalation would go on. Now, like yesterday I had said, that yesterday was only a beginning of a high-level threat, and this kind of a threat against terrorism is going to go on for a long time. In between, you must have heard the Finance Minister, Mr. Arun Jaitley, making an announcement that he's given permission for emergency purchases of 3,500 crores of equipment from ammunition. I take it that it is an urgently required arms/ammunition for which he is given a permission. So here I would like to give a point through you that the defense budget was just presented on 1st of February, and there's absolutely no increase in the defense budget simply because government decided to keep its, give a waiver of farm loans, reduce income tax, reduce petroleum taxes, etc. So there was no money left for defense expenditure. It was just kept at a minimum level. Now, when a situation escalates, you require more ammunition, damaged equipment takes place. If an aircraft is shot down, it is today an aircraft like a Sukhoi. It's more than 350 crores. The MiG today that crashed at somewhere near Avantipura is worth about 150 crores, So if government now will have to garner additional resources for meeting the immediate requirement of the Army and, of course, the Air Force, So therefore, if government...
In fact, Brigadier Mahajan, forgive me for interrupting you, but Maru Fraser joins us right now. He is a consulting editor with the Times Network and a defense expert. Mr. Raza, good afternoon and thank you for joining us. How would you describe the current situation of high alert in the valley and in parts of our border? Is this cause for concern in your mind?
No, it's certainly right to be on a high alert because every action has an opposite reaction. But the pointed issue is that we should not overestimate Pakistan's capacity to act because Pakistan has had several limitations that are built into its general doctrine of promoting terrorism, which was based on the premise that Pakistan did not have the capability to match us in the conventional conflict space. We have shown that despite, the alarm that is there about our dwindling capabilities of our Air Force, for example, and the Rafale deal is a consequence of that, there is a requirement for top-of-the-line equipment. There is always the requirement for top-of-the-line equipment because, opportunities like this don't come every day. And when they come, as we've grown up in the armed forces to believe, that there are no silver medals and runners-up in war. So you have to be 200%, 300% beyond your capacity prepared, and then to be able to exercise that with top-of-the-line equipment, because equipment is always a force multiplier. But having said that, Pakistan would now try and do what it is best at, which is push in some cadres at some levels to try and upset things or upset the equilibrium in the valley. At the same time, they will certainly scale up the activity, military activity along the LOC. We've had this report today about some fighters that came in, crossed the airspace briefly, dumped their bombs or payload very close to the LOC, about a kilometer or two, and turned around because our scrambling jets got on their tail. Apparently, one Pakistan F-16 has been brought down.
Yes.
The report that Pakistan is fabricating and showing on their media that they've also brought down an Indian jet is based on very poor editing of pictures of a MiG crash in Jodhpur several months, if not a year ago. And accordingly, the report that they have managed to hit out something at Badgam or Avantipura, that's a crash of a Mi-17 helicopter. It is not a fighter. And this was this is old equipment. Some of it does crash from time to time. And Pakistan would be really stretching a point to come and bomb Srinagar because it's the Kashmiris they seem to be weeping for all the time. So what are they trying to hit at in Srinagar if they say they've bombed something in Avantipura? So, there is a propaganda campaign. Pakistan's military establishment has been very good at that. But please understand that they have built up their entire stature based on propaganda and bluff and a lot of lies. I mean, you can poke holes through them, as Christine Fair, who's written probably the best book on the Pakistan Army, Fighting to the End, says that they lie so much that even when they tell you the truth, you can't believe it. So, it is that about Pakistan which to me defines how they will approach matters. We are in a complete state of alert. We will be in a state of alert. And if pushed to a point, we will continue to respond. We've now opened a new chapter. It's a strategic watershed. And we are now very, very willing. And we based, it took us 12 days to respond. Why? Because if we could have responded on day one itself, but we calculated all the possibilities post the Pulwama attack that could happen and how we would respond to that. The military bases everything on war games and practice. They practice enormously hard in peacetime so that the whole action in war or in a warlike situation, which is what we are in today, it's not war, it's warlike, we can achieve in 20 minutes what we haven't been able to achieve in 20, 25 years. So please understand that capabilities are there with us. The political signal had to come. It has been given. Now matters are best left to the armed forces because they have their responses machine-like worked out and they are not going to be taken by surprise at all. Our citizens need not panic. There is, as long as you remain alert, you're okay. And I don't think Pakistan has the capacity to scale it up beyond the point. Their stock market has already crashed almost to half. And Pakistan's economy is really the weak point.
But Maru Fraser, here's a question I want to ask you. We do know, of course, that Imran Khan comes backed by the fundamentalists and by the Pakistan Army. The Pakistan Army, known for its massive egos at this point. Would you expect those wounded egos to push Pakistan to do something rash?
No, you see, Imran Khan is a puppet that has been installed by the Pakistan Army. The fact of the matter is that I think everybody who becomes Prime Minister of Pakistan, though has a delusion of grandeur, which Mr. Khan does have, but at the same time is conscious of the fact that you take on the military establishment and in a best-case situation, you end up in jail like Nawaz Sharif is today. In a worst-case situation, you get hanged like Bhutto. So, you tread on thin ice when you become Prime Minister in Pakistan, especially on areas of security, India, Pakistan, etc. Also, this, to me, is an opportunity if Mr. Khan wants to break off the shackles of his military patrons. He is now to go public and ask accountability from the army because obviously he must have been briefed by the generals in Rawalpindi and therefore he is looking pretty sort of drawn down with the expression that we've been seeing of him in the last 2 days. And he can ask public accountability and that will put the military in a spot. The only 2 occasions when I know the Pakistani military was asked to give accountability was the surrender in Dhaka and the Abbottabad raid. This is actually more spectacular than the Abbottabad raid because the Abbottabad raid, despite American technology, one of their helicopters had crashed. B, they went and targeted one man, Osama bin Laden, here, and they had gone in with Pakistan actually being, in a way, in a loop because Pakistan did not have the capacity to stop their helicopters and forces. Here, we went in against much bigger odds at a longer distance and achieved far, far bigger impact with terror attacks. The pointed issue to understand is this is not going to end Pakistan's terror machinery, but it will certainly begin a phase of Pakistan wanting to, if they really want to reorient themselves,
Yes.
here is the opportunity for Iran and everybody else.
Yes, Maru Fraser, thank you. Thank you for your opinion and your time, and we're going to try and have you back on the channel as quickly as possible. We have some breaking news that's coming in. A high-level meeting at the Prime Minister's residence. The government core group has gone into a meeting to discuss the current situation. Earlier in the day, the Home Minister held a meeting with the IB chief and the National Security Advisor, Mr. Doval. So that high-level meeting is taking place at the Prime Minister's office residence right now. We understand, of course, that the government is considering all of the information that's coming in and its necessary course of action. The government core group and the Home Minister in that meeting, and we bring you updates as soon as we can get them confirmed. Like I've told you before on Mirror Now today, we're only carrying information that we've been able to confirm with government agencies and official sources. So you will find us a little slower than the other channels today, and for that I apologize. We're going to take a very quick break. We'll come back on the other side as we are waiting for more information from the Government of India.